Alright, here is game 2 of Flash versus Effort in the World Cyber Games 2009 qualifiers, which of course to many people is more intense than the actual World Cyber Games due to just Korea's mastery of this video game. Although this time, as we saw in that intro, this will be held in China. So certainly I'm sure China, which really is, I would say, the #2 country overall in StarCraft, is going to put up a tough series of opponents, I feel. I think there's going to be a lot of support for them, and perhaps, you know, with that money, enough money for them to practice all day long and be super nerds like the Koreans are, and get as good as them. So we'll see, you know, late in November, I think, or is it November, October, whatever it is. We'll see then whether there's any countries that can present a real challenge to the Koreans, especially for taking it first. I mean, we know obviously PJ took second a while ago in, I think it was 07, by beating Savior, but you know, certainly first is going to be very hard. It's much easier to get to the second place, of course, where you're going to have to face a Korean inevitably if you're a foreigner. In any case, here are two Koreans playing off. Flash and Effort going to be playing on Destination. I love this map, as do most people. It is a very Terran-biased map, though, against the Zerg race. And Effort, looking at statistics, I did say he is weakest against Terran, but and it's true, but his statistics are still 60% win rate, certainly better than most Zerg's ZBT win rate. So, you know, it's certainly a very good ZBT player. Flash has been defeating him pretty consistently, though, starting from a while ago in the Incrude OSL. Meanwhile, Effort, I should have mentioned, did get very far in the GOM TV Classic into the Final Four. So, it's not... let's not denigrate his many accomplishments, you know, for a relatively newish player. Definitely has taken the top spot in terms of Zergs on CJ's team. Although Quanro sometimes has flashes, and Savior sometimes takes enough antidepressants. We've got an Overlord scouting for proxies here for Effort. Oh, look at this! An engineering bay, boxer style, from Flash in Effort's natural expansion. I say boxer style because sometimes he does this. Sometimes to be funny, sometimes to actually play as a real strategy. I mean, it's basically... it's kind of complicated. It's interesting. Basically, you want to block the expansion. At the same time, you want to sometimes actually finish the engineering bay and use it for more goofiness, like scouting and stuff. Generally, though, you just half build it. You build it until it has a lot of HP, so it takes a long time to destroy. And then when it does get destroyed, you just cancel it, and you get most of your money back. Of course, 3/4 of your money is given back when you cancel a building in StarCraft. For those of you who didn't know. And by the way, that's not in any book anywhere, so most of you probably wouldn't know unless you were avid fans. But that is what you get. It is 3/4 back. Anyway, looks like a drone's going to scout Flash out. I'm not sure what Flash is doing. He has obviously had to change his build a little bit because of that really early engineering bay. Flash is going to go for a wall-in, most likely for mech. That is a very pretty girl. And Flash, let's see. Yep, there's mech from Flash getting his gas. And we'll see if Flash goes for what he did last game, which was a standard one-factory expansion, or if he goes for something creative. Certainly players like Lita have just mastered this map in ZVT. Basically, I mean, Lita just, we've seen some awesome 2-port rates on this map from him. We've seen some awesome vulture sneaks from him, going speed vultures. We've seen all sorts of stuff from Lita, and obviously fantasy too. Although for some reason I remember Lita distinctively just schooling someone inside and out, like taking somebody to elementary school and then junior high and then high school and then university and giving someone a PhD and losing to 2-port rates in this like longish game. So Lita obviously has done that. Flash certainly is capable of doing exactly the same thing. That's what makes him so dangerous. He is not bad with any build. He is good with any build, pretty much. And he has a couple that he's great with. This time, Flash is going to be going for a 2-fact. So like I said, that's one of the options. And Effort's not going to spot it. He only spots one factory. He still does not know what's going on. And he might even lose his Overlord. Yeah, he might lose the Overlord even. Ooh, that'd be a pretty big loss early on in the game here. Alright, meanwhile, Effort has been delayed in his expansion, though. Absolutely has been. He's gone for a 3 hatchery build. Usually I like this build, but we're going to see how he faces off here, having lost an Overlord, having been delayed in his expansion, and having not spotted the fact that there's a 2-factory Vulture build coming up. And I do think it's going to be a Vulture build. That's generally what happens if you go 2-fac like this against a Zerg player. You're going to see speed vultures, or possibly vultures with mines. Although I think this is being on destination too, where there's a good length of distance between your natural and your main. I think vultures, or speed vultures, are going to be the likely result here. Some sort of sneak build. We're going to have to see. Now, Flash has come up with some retarded stuff too, like a game. If you search up Hyuk versus Flash, man, you got to watch Flash's build. In that game, it was like one of the worst builds I've ever seen. I think he builds, oh yeah, he builds speed vultures with dropships against mass hydralisks, and he doesn't get mines. It was like one of the worst combinations possible. Obviously, speed vultures are good in a limited amount of time, but against mass vultures, against mass hydralisks, especially without spider mines, they're just absolutely useless. They deal, just almost no damage, and they get killed really quickly. I don't know what to say. Oh, I'm not sure if that Overlord spotted that or not. Really, I think it did. We're going to have to see how Effort can manage, though, here. He's got good building placement, as expected. He's got good Ling placement, so I think he might be able to handle this, but I don't know. Obviously, now he knows for sure. And I think he could be able to handle this. Zergs have really figured out how to deal with this Vulture sneak on this map by building placement, basically. Yeah, it looks like Flash unable to go in. So, will this be a waste for Flash? We're going to have to see. Obviously, he's going to get mines, too, so he can provide himself some defense against a big Hydralisk attack. But it's good for him, also, that Effort didn't go for Spire really quickly, in which case he'd be in trouble going for an expansion and Vultures. He just wouldn't have the anti-air ready. And there was really no way of him knowing. I guess, well, actually, after seeing the 3rd hatchery, I guess he could know that there wasn't going to be fast Mutalisks. But there still could be, moderately fast Mutalisks instead of Hydralisks at all. That's not an impossibility, given how well Effort's building placement was. If it was good enough to hold off a Speedling rush, then a Speed Vulture rush, then certainly it could have gone straight to Mutalisks, which would be deadly. Anyway, Flash has gotten his expansion, and Effort has not gone straight to Mutalisks. He will have Mutalisks, though, and we'll see what he can do. Along with, of course, the mandatory Hydralisks when you go, into an expansion like this against Speed Vultures. I guess my point is, I guess he could have skipped Hydralisk, theoretically. But Flash knew he didn't because there was a den right in front. So, alright, so I guess Flash did know that there was no chance there was going to be fast Mutalisks. Flash knows things, happens when you have little nanobots flying around your head looking at things for you, like Flash does. But Effort has the power of the aliens, and we're going to have to see if his alien powers are enough here to be able to micro better than he did last game. Not that he did badly, but it wasn't enough to beat Flash, and that's what counts at the end. Who manages to handle it, and who manages to deal with it, and looks like Flash right now, once again, with just one turret, but look at that placement. It's just like a really good placement. It's like actually managing to protect a whole lot of real estate, and Effort once again kind of stymied here. He's trying to expand to his 3rd on the right side, but Flash has got some Speed Vultures there, now being kind of effective, although we'll see if he stays there or not. Yeah, he might run because of how vulnerable they are to air.